Shalom. This is Bishop Nathaniel of Israel United in Christ. I want to start off by saying thank you to all of our Booster Club members for your many donations and much more, your prayers. We visited faraway countries and strange lands. We've even spoken to dignitaries and were detained for spreading the glorious gospel in Cuba. The truth is that the descendants of the 12 tribes of Israel were scattered throughout the world. Help us on our journey as we continue to raise up the nation of Israel. 12 tribes worldwide. Join or donate today. Shalom.
Book of Daniel, chapter 7 and verse 25. And he shall speak great words against the Most High, and shall wear out the saints of the Most High, and think to change times and laws.
These people would seek to change times and laws.
Right.
They'll add a leap year.
Right.
They'll add an extra day to the year.
Right.
They'll change how you read the months.
T-Jock.
They'll change how you read the week.
T-Jock.
They'll tell you that Monday's the first day. Well, according to God, Sunday's the first day.
That's right. T-Shama.
They'll tell you that September's the 9th month, when according to God, it's the 7th month.
Right.
According to the moon. They'll read things according to the sun. God says we follow according to the moon. They seek to change times and laws.
Wake them up.
So go back to that Leviticus. Read that.
The book of Leviticus, chapter 23 and verse 27. Also, on the 10th day of the 7th month, there shall be a day of atonement. It shall be a holy convocation unto you.
So this is going to be a holy convocation. That's what today is. Today is the Day of Atonement.
That's right.
So let's see what we have to do on the Day of Atonement. Continue.
And ye shall afflict your souls.
You shall afflict your souls. What does it mean to afflict your own soul? Does anybody know what that means?
T-Jock.
To afflict your own soul? How does one do that? You got that for me, brother? How does one afflict their own souls? Read.
The book of Jonah, chapter 3 and verse 5.
Bring it out.
So the people of Nineveh believed God and proclaimed a fast,
So they proclaimed the fast, but let's see what it was.
and put on sackcloth, from the greatest of them even to the least of them. For the word came unto the king of Nineveh, and he arose from his throne and laid his robe from him and covered him with sackcloth and satin ashes. And he caused it to be proclaimed and published throughout Nineveh by the decree.
Hey, brother, you got a moment? How you doing, big bro? You got a moment where I can speak to you? All we're doing over here is just reading the Bible, and we're teaching our people our history. I think it'd be important to show your son some of these pictures.
That's right.
You don't have to be worried about being on camera. You can come up here, brother. If you don't mind. Show you some of these pictures so some of your sons can see them. Some of your grandsons. All praises, all praises. So basically what we're doing out here, we're teaching our people their true history in the scriptures. You believe in the Bible, sir? All praises, all praises. So whenever you read the scriptures, right, you don't really read about so-called black people in the Bible, right? It doesn't say, hey, these are black people today, these are what today, right? It doesn't say it that clear. We're in there, but it doesn't say it very clear, right? The nationality of a Chinese man is not said in here, right? It doesn't say Chinese people did this, right? But they're in the scriptures, right? So what we're teaching our people is we're teaching them their true name in the Bible. What were they called back then?
T-Jock.
Are you aware of what you were called back then? Okay, all praises. So let's going to start in Deuteronomy, right? You're familiar with the history of Moses and how he saved the children of Israel, how God used him to save the children of Israel out of Egypt, across the Red Sea, and then they gave them the laws, right? So this is Moses speaking to the children of Israel.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 1 and verse 1. These be the words which Moses spake unto all Israel.
So it's Moses speaking to all Israel. All right, so we're gonna go later into the book. So we're just establishing who's speaking.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 1. 15. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe, to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
So Moses was explaining to the children of Israel, if they didn't keep the commandments that God gave them after they were saved, that they would be cursed. Are you familiar with that history? How the children of Israel were taken in captivity and they were cursed? Let me ask you, what would you say your nationality is?
T-Jock. I would say black.
So you would say black. A lot of us, we would normally say black. That's what we would check on a job application, right? But we all know that black is just a color, right? Like the thing you have around your neck, that's black. You're not actually that color. So some of us would say we're African American, right? But we know that those names are man-made names. You know, America comes from Amerigo Vespucci, which is an Italian man. Africa comes from Leo Scipio Africanus, which is another Italian name.
That's right. Right.
So when we call ourselves African Americans, we're basically calling ourselves after two Italian men. Are you Italian, man? Caucasians, right? I'm not one.
Wake 'em up.
I'm not Caucasian either. But we call these names, right? Are you over 35 years old? So you know in the past where we were called Afro-Americans. At one point we were called coloreds. At another point we were called Negroes, right? We were around every 10 years we get a different name. They're always calling us something different.
That's right.
But what does God call us, right? That's what we're out here to show our people. What does God call you? Not these man-made names that they're giving us that are just colors, that are just men, that we are not, and that we don't come from.
T-Jock.
Because when we call ourselves these names, we're actually stripping the value from ourselves.
That's right.
Because everybody else, they know where they come from. There's somebody say, I'm German, I'm from Europe. I know, they know exactly where we come from. Where do you come from? What country? Most of us don't know.
Wake 'em up.
A lot of us don't know. Because we're not taught that, right? But wouldn't it be important for us to know that? Especially when the other people are taught where they're from and their children are taught, right? Because, not to like knock any children, but if I asked them, they wouldn't know either, right? But wouldn't it be important for them to know? Hey, this is who I am. This is where my family's from. This is my heritage. This is what my people do. We don't know that because all we do is what America does, because that's what we're taught, right? But everybody else, they're able to do their own things. You see the Chinese, they'll set up their restaurants, they'll hire their people and do their thing. The Indians will have their gas stations and they'll hire their people to do their thing. Our people, we just do what America does. We don't have our own thing.
T-Jock.
So we're going to read this again.
That's right.
Give me, let's go back to Deuteronomy. And so Moses said if our people didn't keep the commandments, that we would be cursed. So we're going to read some of the curses and see who this fits on. Because you say you're older than 35, so you've seen a lot of the history of our people, right? You've seen the hard times that our people have been through. So let's see if this thing is biblically, is in the Bible. Read verse 16.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 16. Cursed shall thou be in the city, and cursed shall thou be in the field.
So Moses told the Israelites, if they don't keep God's commandments, they're going to be cursed in the city.
Right.
If you look at our people, we're usually in the bottom of society, right? As a majority. You know, you have some of us who will get famous, but as a majority, we're in the ghettos, we're in the projects. We're the ones, you know, getting shot down the streets for, you know, whatever reason, right? And we're the ones who, you know, they say last hire, first fire, stuff like that. Due to the condition that we've been put in generationally, right? That's a curse according to God.
Right.
Because our people are not keeping God's commandments. Because if you look at our people today, would you say that's something that our sons should aspire to do? You look at some of the men. You can look at some of the men down there. You would say you would want your son to be like that? No, right? So our people are not doing what's according to God. So God said, because of that, we will be cursed. So one of the curses will we be cursed in the city. That's why you see our people struggling to make it by in the projects, in the ghettos. Because we're not keeping what God's law says.
That's right.
What's the next one say? Cursed shall we be in the what?
Verse 17. Verse 16. Cursed shall thou be in the city, and cursed shall thou be in the field.
Now none of us was old enough to see this, but it says, cursed shall we be in the field. You see these pictures right here? You know what this is from, right? Slavery. Hey, y'all know about this? What's your names? Richard, Frederick, and Ethan. And what's your name, brother? Frederick. Okay, it's your all praises, all praises. So, Frederick, this is what happened in the past. There was a point in time where our people, we were in captivity. We weren't always able to walk around as freely as we can do now. Right? You follow? So, in the Bible, God said that our people shall be cursed in the field. So when we were cursed in the field, we were forced to pick certain things like cotton, indigo, tobacco, and we were forced to do that for the people who were over us.
That's right.
That's not something that's not how our people are supposed to be. We're not supposed to be in servitude like this.
Right.
So we're not in this exact same servitude today, but I don't know if they still teach this in school or not. So I'm going to show you.
There you go. That's right.
So, read it again.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 16. Curse shall thy be in the city, and curse shall thy be in the field.
So these are things that were put upon our people throughout history. They believe in, I'm pretty sure they believe in the Bible too, right? So y'all believe in Jesus? Jesus Christ, right? That's our Lord and Savior. Exactly, right? So, is this Jesus? Yes? You say yes? Is this Jesus? It's not a trick question. Just what you've seen. You say no, and you say yes. Let me ask you, Frederick, is this Jesus? No, right? No. Hold this up. We call this man the prisoner. He looks like Charles Manson. Biblically, is this image in the Bible? No, I mean, like, does it say that Jesus looks like this? No, right? So where do we get this from? Somebody made it up, right?
That's right. Caucasian.
A Caucasian made it up, right? But even though he said no, a lot of the children we ask will say this is Jesus. A lot of them will say this is. A lot of the grown people we ask will say, yes, this is Jesus. But biblically, this is not him. But there is a biblical description of Jesus. Read it. So just so you don't think it's me, and go read it on your own. We just men up here. But read.
The book of Revelation, chapter 1 and verse 1. The revelation of Jesus Christ.
The word revelation means to reveal. So this is the revealing of Jesus Christ. You are aware that Jesus had 12 disciples, right? So Revelation was written by which one? If you don't know, just say you'll know. So it was written by John. So John is writing this. He's revealing who Jesus Christ is. It's going to say. It's going to tell you who wrote it.
The revelation of Jesus Christ, which God gave unto him to show unto his servants things which must shortly come to pass. And he sent and signified by his angels unto his servant John, who bore record of the word of God and of the testimony of Jesus Christ, and of all things that he saw.
So John bore record, meaning he wrote down all the things that he heard and all the things that he saw. That's what the book of Revelations is. God is showing John these visions, and he's writing down what he saw. So let's go to verse 13, I believe.
The book of Revelations, chapter 1 and verse 13. And in the midst of the 7 candlesticks, one like unto the Son of Man.
Who's the Son of Man? Jesus Christ. They say Jesus Christ is the Son of Man. It said, like in, hold that one up, Elkanah. It said, in the midst of the 7 candlesticks. So we're not just making nothing up. It said, so you see the 7 candlesticks. He's standing in front of it. That's what the scriptures say. Clothed
with a garment down to the foot.
So he had on a garment all the way down to his feet. So you could really only see his feet. Some of the people, they have garment down to their feet over here. So something like that. Not saying look exactly like that, but just something like that.
And girt about the paps with a golden girdle.
We're not rich enough to have gold girdles, but Christ is the Son of God. He got all the riches. He got everything. He had a gold girdle. He had a gold belt on.
Verse 14. His head and his hairs were white like wool.
The hairs on his head and the hairs on his beard were white like wool. White in color, woolly in texture. So you see some of the brothers sitting around here, we have woolly hair. Some of the older gentlemen here, they have some white hair. Christ's hair was fully white. Read.
As white as snow, and his eyes were as a flame of fire.
It says Christ's eyes were as a flame of fire. Are you aware of Christ's first miracle?
Teach y'all.
He turned water to wine, right? Yeah, you got that? Where it says he turned water to wine? Because is there anything wrong with drinking wine? It's okay to drink wine. It's not okay to get drunk. The scriptures say don't be a drunkard. You can drink as long as it's in moderation. Christ drunk wine in moderation. He was not a drunkard. Just get Genesis. Get Genesis. Read.
The book of Genesis, chapter 49 and verse 12.
This is a prophecy about Christ. It's going to tell you what his eyes would be like.
His eyes shall be red with wine.
So it says Christ's eyes shall be red with wine. This was like a prophecy talking about how he would be able to turn water into wine. It said this all the way back in Genesis, because the whole Bible speaks about Christ. So go back to Revelation.
The book of Revelations, chapter 1 and verse 14. His head and his hairs were white like wool, as white as snow, and his eyes were as a flame of fire. Verse 15. And his feet.
So we're talking about his feet. Remember, he had the garment down to his foot, so you can only see his feet. So John sees his feet. You see, the color of the top of your foot is the same as the rest of your body. So he sees his feet.
And his feet like unto fine brass, as if they burned in a furnace.
Brass is like a goldish brown color, but it didn't say it was just brass. It said it was burnt brass.
That's right.
So Christ wasn't just a brown-skinned man. He was a very dark-skinned man.
That's right.
According to the Bible. Not according to what we thought, because this book was written before all of us were born. It was always in here. So if it's always in here, why are they doing this? Christ spoke about that too. Matthew 24, verse 4. Remember, Christ is a son of God. He makes prophecies. He's able to see the future. He's warning the people of the things to come, of the end time, right? So he prophesied that they would change his image.
That's right.
They don't read this in church. Who knows why? Who knows?
Teach y'all.
The book of Matthew, chapter 24 and verse 4. And Jesus answered and said unto them, take heed that no man deceive you.
Christ said, take heed that no man deceive you. He's warning you that there's going to be people out here trying to deceive you. Read.
For many shall come in my name, saying, I am Christ.
A lot of people are going to come and say that they are Christ. This is one of them. You have multiple versions of this image. These are all different people. They're based off of the same man, Cesare Borgia, but they look like different people. There's many people who will come and say they're Christ. You see it in the movies. Whenever you see a movie about Jesus, what? It's just another Caucasian man with long hair. There's many people trying to deceive and say they're Christ.
That's right.
And shall deceive many.
And it deceives many. Majority of the world believes this is Jesus. Majority of them. Majority of the world will believe this is Jesus. Because you look in Peru, they have a big old statue of the Jesus. That's like 200 feet tall. In Brazil. Read.
Verse 24. For there shall arise false Christ.
There's going to arise false Christ. He's warning you. He's saying there's going to arise false Christ. How can you know what a false Christ is if he didn't leave you a description of what the real Christ is?
That's right.
He wouldn't leave you hanging like that.
That's right.
That's why we read in Revelations, he gave us a description. So it should be easy to see a false Christ. If a dude came out with red hair and white face paint and a Bozo the Clown nose, he said, I'm Jesus, I'd be like, nah. It says Jesus has white woolly hair and he has burnt brass skin.
That's right. Right.
He gave us the tools to be able to combat that.
Teach y'all.
Read.
Verse 24. For there shall arise false Christs and false prophets, and shall show great signs and wonders, insomuch that if it were possible, they shall deceive the very elect.
So false Christ and false prophets. So you have to be able to tell what's a false prophet.
That's right.
Because anybody can come with this and say, hey, believe me. Right? Anybody.
That's right.
You don't even know we're going to show you that. Get the one in Isaiah. Is it 8:16? Speak not according.
Teacher.
Speak not according to this word. Yeah. 8:16. Isaiah 8:16. The Bible teaches you how to tell if somebody's a false prophet. God does not leave the people hanging.
That's right.
To just you guessing. It ain't no guessing. He teaches you how to tell. Read.
The book of Isaiah. The book of Isaiah, chapter 8 and verse 20. Bring it out. To the law and the testimony. If they speak not according to this word, it is because there is no light in them.
So whenever you come across somebody who claims to be a prophet, the scriptures say if they speak not according, the scriptures say if you speak not according to this, they speak not according to this word, it's because there is no light in them. So whenever somebody claims to be a prophet, they have to speak according to the word. That's why you see us going to the Bible to back everything that we're saying. We're not just saying something, giving you a song and dance, and then saying, yeah, just believe me, and then by the way, pay us. We're not asking for no money out here either.
That's right.
The word of God is not for sale.
Right.
We're not asking for no money out here.
That's right.
Go back to where we were, where it said false Christ and false prophet. Matthew 24 and 24.
The book of Matthew, chapter 24 and verse 24. Bring it out. For there shall arise false Christs and false prophets.
So you have false prophets inside these buildings, and they'll claim to be that God's working with them, and they said they will show many signs and wonders. What are some of these signs that you see inside these mega churches? You see people getting healed, right? You see people come in there, they're hurt, and they'll come out healed. You see people come in there, they'll come out with extra things that they didn't have before, right? You follow me, Frederick? They said that the false prophets will show many signs and wonders. You look at these mega churches where they have like all these healings going on, right? See somebody sick and they'll be healed, right? I'm here to tell you that's garbage. That's garbage. I'm gonna tell you all. So if a pastor could just heal everybody, right? If you could just go to a church and get healed, why don't they just go to a hospital and go to the first floor?
Right.
Hey man, before you have your appointment, let me just go ahead and get that for you.
Right.
Oh no, hey, what, you coming to the doctor? Nah, me, come on, I got you, bro. I got that leg for you. Cancer? Come on, bro, I got you. Why they not doing that?
Right.
It's not real. That's why Christ said the false prophets will show great signs and wonders to where people will believe them.
Right.
Because you'll see it on TV, you'll be like, dang, that's crazy. They healing people.
Bring it out.
And look how everybody's cheering. Look how everybody giving their tithes. There gotta be something behind it. But that's a great sign and a wonder that's false.
Right.
Why the doctors ain't saying, man, we can't figure out this medical problem. Hell with it. Let's go to the pastor. He can just Shazam it away. No, that's not how Christ set things up.
Right.
But that's how they'll have you, that's how they will teach you, so when you see it, you'll believe it. Because tithing, right? I'm pretty sure all of us have been guilty of giving tithes at one point, right? Is tithes money?
Bring it out.
Let's read it. Because a lot of pastors say the Old Testament's done away with, right? But tithing in the Old Testament.
That's right.
They'll do that.
Teacher.
Okay, let's read it.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 14 and verse 22. Bring it out. Thou shalt truly tithe all the increase of thy seed.
Of thy what? Thy wallet.
Of thy seed.
Of thy paycheck.
Of thy seed.
Of your seed. I'm going to explain what the seed is.
That the field bringeth forth year by year.
That the job bringeth forth.
That the field bringeth forth year by year.
The payroll that you get, you got to give 10% of that.
That the field bring forth year by year. And thou shalt eat before the Lord thy God.
You going to eat it? You're not going to spend it. You're going to eat it.
Teacher.
You going to eat the money? You're going to eat the food. You're going to eat the food. That's what tithing is.
That's right. And thou shalt eat before the Lord thy God in the place which he shall choose.
God chose Jerusalem. It's talking about Jerusalem. So the reason why God set up tithing You're aware of the 12 tribes of Israel, right? Our people come from the 12 tribes, but there was a tribe that was the priests, the Levites. Like Moses was a Levite. God gave all the tribes land except the priests. Because the priests had to be in all the lands, because every land needed priests, right? So they lived in these suburbs. They didn't have land to grow things. So God required all the other tribes to give 10% of their crops to the Levites because they could do it themselves. Get Numbers 18 and 20. God required them to give the Levites the crops because they couldn't do it themselves. Is the pastor down the street, he a Levite?
Teach, Jock.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Teach, Jock.
The book of Numbers, chapter 18 and verse 20.
Bring it out.
And the Lord spake unto Aaron, thou shalt have no inheritance in their land, neither shalt thou have any part among them. I am thy part and thine inheritance.
So Aaron was the priest of the Levites. God said, y'all not going to have no inheritance in the land. He's telling them, Levites, y'all not going to have no land. So what he required them to do, the other people in land, to give them tithes. Read.
Among the children of Israel. And behold, I give unto the children of Levi all the tenth in Israel for an inheritance, for their service which they serve, even the service of the tabernacle of the congregation.
Their inheritance was a tenth of every other tribe's field, the seed that they brought forth. Go back to Deuteronomy. Go back where you left off at.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 14 and verse 23.
Bring it out.
And thou shalt eat before the Lord thy God in the place which he shall choose to place his name there, and the tithe of thy corn, of thy wine, and of thine oil, and the firstlings of thine herds, and of thine flocks, that thou mightest learn to fear the Lord thy God always.
So he named what the tithes were, what they were given, what the tenth was. You're giving them a tenth of the corn, a tenth of the wine, a tenth of the oil, the herds, like meaning the meat, so they can eat.
That's right.
So Christ, remember what Christ said, there'll be false prophets, right? He's giving you the criteria. All you have to do is go in the book and read, and you'll be able to tell.
Right. That's right.
You have pastors collecting tithes and saying it's money.
Right.
Something false there. The Bible don't teach that.
Teach,
You have pastors claiming that they're healing people. Nah, that's not what's going on. That's not what's going on in here.
Right.
That's not happening in there. You got pastors with this in stained glass on the walls and the windows. You got this in stained glass. Nah, something false going on in there.
That's right.
The movies. What's the dude name who played him? I can't think of his name. Clint Eastwood, something like that. Yeah. Something false going on there. God gave you the signs. He gave you the way to tell. We just have to be able to follow them.
The book of Colossians, chapter 2 and verse 8. Beware lest any man spoil you through philosophy and vain deceit.
So he says, beware lest any man spoil you. What does it mean when something's spoiled? Rotten, right? Something you throw away, right? Something not good. God said, beware lest somebody spoil you through what?
Philosophy and vain deceit.
Through philosophy and vain deceit. Meaning there's gonna be people out here spoiling the people through fake philosophies and fake deceit.
That's right.
Lies. They're gonna be teaching the people lies on a grand scale.
Right.
Majority of people walk around are lied to. We've been lied to before. You've been lied to. But it's up to the Bible to bring out what the truth is.
That's right.
What is the truth according to the Bible?
Wake him up.
It's okay not to know. We weren't born and knew this. It's okay not to know something. So if you don't know, it's fine. We were taught this too. You have to be taught. People have to be taught things. There's nothing wrong with that.
The book of Psalms, chapter 119, verse 142.
Bring it out.
Thy righteousness is an everlasting righteousness, and thy law is the truth.
God's laws is what the truth is.
That's right.
You know how God gave Moses the commandments, right? That's what the truth is. That's the truth according to God, the commandments. Love thy neighbor as thyself, that is true. Because God's laws are perfect.
That's right.
What you got?
The book of Psalms, chapter 119, verse 151. Thou art near, O Lord, and all thy commandments are true.
All God's commandments are true. Society will teach you, because who set up these churches, right? Because in slavery we couldn't read or write, correct? So if we are Baptist or a Methodist or a Lutheran or something, Pentecostal, whatever, all these denominations, if we one of these things, it's because our father was that, their father was that, and their slave master was that. That's how we were taught. The Bible is true. They taught it to us wrong. Because we weren't allowed to read and write, so we just believe whatever they told us. There's nothing wrong with the Bible. There's something wrong with how they taught us. And that went down through generations to where we still believe that. We believe those things. Because they set up those churches, like you see like some of these churches, they big as heck. Who crowdfunded that? Where'd they get the funds to make this 8,000 square foot church? Where'd they get the money for that? The government set it up. Because they have to make sure they maintain what's taught throughout the communities. Everybody got to be taught the same thing. You can't have one person over here thinking Jesus black and the other one thinking Jesus white. You can't have that. They all got to believe that he looked like us, the oppressor. This is oppressor speaking. We have to believe that, they make them believe that Jesus looked like their oppressor, because that's why you can have a plantation with 1,000 Negroes and 3 white men and nobody do nothing. Because why? They taught that man God. I can't do nothing to God. He looked just like God. So there has to be a change in the way of thinking. Get Psalms 19 and 7. Psalms chapter 19, verse 7. And notice, like I said, we're going to go to the scriptures to say everything. Because we just men.
That's right.
Our job is to teach the Bible.
That's right.
Not to teach what I think. What I think don't matter.
Teach,
it don't really matter. Well, what we all individually think, in the grand scheme of things, it don't matter. Because what I think not going to get you to heaven. What's in here going to get you to heaven.
That's right. That's right.
This is what's going to get you to heaven. Not what I think. Not what he think. Not what nobody think. This is.
The book of Psalms, chapter 19 and verse 7. The law of the Lord is perfect, converting the soul.
So the laws of God are perfect, converting the soul. When you start keeping God's laws, you start to see a change. So there's people who are young, middle-aged, and older men who don't know. They weren't taught that. We were all taught something different. Read.
The testimony of the Lord is sure, making wise the simple.
It makes once our people, at one time our people were very simple people, meaning not smart. But when you keep the laws, you become very wise. There's a simple law. Get 1 Corinthians 11, right? There's going to be a very simple law, right? And it's going to make us wiser. It's something that you can do right now. It's not going to be hard at all.
Wake them up.
And when it comes out, you're going to be like, wow, all those brothers are doing that right now.
The book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 11 and verse 3. Bring it out. But I will have you know that the head of every man is Christ.
The head of the man is Christ.
And the head of the woman is the man.
The head of the woman is the man. Society will say 50-50. God don't, that's not going on in here. That's not going on in the Bible.
That's right.
The Bible says Christ, man, woman, children.
That's right.
That's the order. That's how I go.
And the head of Christ is God.
The head of Christ is God, because God is the Father, Christ is the Son. They're not the same person, like how we're taught. He's the Father, he's the Son. You have the man, the woman, and the children.
We used to scream black power while Heron was pushed. But at the end of the day, nothing's in vain. IUIC has been given a vision. The tents of Judah has risen. Many has attempted the mission. Minor murmuring, omitting, and missing the mark. Just reading that he had the flame of fire in his eyes gave us the spark. We on Paul's mission. We out on the road, purple and gold. From Mexico, Cuba, Haiti, Ghana, Sierra Leone, 144,000 boots banging, concrete crackling. These are our men repented at heart. The scriptures is proof. IUIC, we deliver the truth.